and welcome back to Times Square today, where I've got a great guest for you. I've got a holistic life coach and intimacy expert, and she's known as Queen Jackie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. So tell our viewers a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so as you mentioned, I'm a holistic life and intimacy coach. And so what I do, I help couples put the intimacy back into their relationship through coaching. I also have an online radio show called The Intimacy Chronicles, and you can listen live every Tuesday on mixstation.com. It's always amazing topics, and I just want people to focus more on putting the love into the relationship, but stop overthinking it.
Got
you
it.
know?
Sometimes the more we're in a relationship, the more we either get stale or start to
get
overthink the normal
stale.
things that were just natural spark at the beginning, right?
Absolutely. And I think we forget how simple it is because we think too much. Like something as simple as holding hands. For us, when a man grabs our hand, it tells us we're secure, and he's there to protect me. When we grab your hand, you're probably thinking, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. We don't do this enough. But you just made a connection for something so simple.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you decide, at what point did you say, man, intimacy is something that's a lost art, I need to help people? How'd that happen?
Because what I find is a lot of people think intimacy and they just think the physical side of it. I want you to focus on the bigger picture of intimacy where, you're walking in the park holding hands, or you're just maybe reading a story to one another. And something as simple as touch. You touch your partner's shoulders. That's a shared connection that we're missing, because a lot of times we're touching our electronic devices
Right.
more than we're touching each other. So I wanted to educate the community and bring some love back into this world.
A friend of mine calls that vitamin C, vitamin connect. We need to do more of that, right?
Exactly, absolutely. And I feel like you say, it's a lost art because we're focused more on things than people. So I want people to start looking and being able to love and accept who they are, so that then they can become the best version of themselves.
So does it start, so often we think of intimacy as our relationship with another person. Does it start with our relationship with ourselves first?
Right, because in order to be the best version of yourself, you got to learn to love and accept yourself, flaws and all. I tell people all the time, I'm perfectly imperfect, and I'm okay with that. So I can give, the best version of myself because I know who I am. And I think a lot of times we're so down on ourselves that we tend to not open ourselves fully to the next person we're in a relationship with.
That statement has two parts to it. I want to focus on it for a second. I'm perfectly imperfect, just being able to state that, but maybe even more importantly with that, and I'm okay with that.
And I'm okay with that, absolutely. And that's it. That's the acceptance. Being okay with who you are. We spend a lot of times judging one another, not understanding that our differences shouldn't divide us, but should bring us closer together. But first, you have to learn to love and appreciate yourself.
I love it. Yeah, if we were exactly the same as our partner, it wouldn't be much fun,
It
right?
would be boring, right?
Exactly. If you really knew what they were thinking all the time, that mystery would go away, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, to be able to share that with others and enhance their relationships. Now, let me just say this. My relationship isn't perfect. I've been married 27 years. I'm crazy, and he's okay with that.
You're perfectly imperfect.
I'm perfectly imperfect, so...
And he's also okay with that.
Exactly, and that's what makes the relationship work. But we've been through many challenges being together 27 years.
Sure.
But it's not to stay in that moment. You have to constantly evolve. We went through a period where the relationship was so stale.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I cannot continue like this, because I felt like I was drowning inside and I didn't want to stay there. And then I wondered the effect of that feeling for me. What was I doing to him?
Right.
So it's taking ownership of the mess that you put into the relationship, taking ownership and then turning it around for better results, not to stay in that moment.
I love that. I normally ask a different question, but I'm going to frame it a little bit differently for you. If you were starting in day one of your relationship you're in now, what do you wish you knew then that you know now?
I wish that I would have taken the ego out in the very beginning. My ego at that time was so big, and I was young, so it was just about me. I didn't think of the relationship as a team effort. I thought about it what I want, me, me, me. And I think that caused a lot of problems between us as a result. So, yeah, I would say take the ego out and focus on the team.
Love it. Now, there's a
Yeah.
lot of people watching this who go, wow, I want to hear that radio show, but I want Queen Jackie's help. How can they find you?
They can find me. My email address is she'sthequeen@queenjackie.net. You can follow me on Instagram at queen_Jackie_A. And also my website is www.queenjackie.net. And you can reach me by phone 410-571-4691.
I'm sure there'll be many people reaching out to you. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Nick.
All right, and we'll be right back on Times Square today.